we're going to take a step back in the old time machine and talk about an ORAT listener who has now worked with Bo Eckstein a couple of different times. He started this small business journey by owning some vending machines and now recently has just started a painting franchise. Bo, I love the fact that you're the concierge to small business lending, the fact that you work with ORAT community, and you have brought such a different view to our community. So I appreciate your time and value. But why don't we kind of walk through this story, as it's something that I think a lot of people could appreciate. Take it away.
Sure. So I got an appointment scheduled on my calendar from an ORAT listener. This was probably maybe a little over a year ago, and got to know this gentleman fairly well. And he was really wanted to look at a lot of different business models. And during the same time, he was planning on moving back to Florida, where he's from. He was living in the Bay Area. He had owned another business there, which he ran for like 15 years. I think it was in like the physical training, personal training space. He had his own business, and he still runs that too as well. And he was into real estate investing. He's done, I think he has a couple rental properties. Very smart, laid back guy. And we looked at a lot of business models, and what he wanted to buy a bigger business, but he really liked vending. So we ended up, I think we got him 10 pack of vending machines to start with. So he had got those all placed out there over time. And operating that business, which is like a semi-absentee business. We talk about 1 hour per week. We talk about the tax benefits, especially with the 100% bonus depreciation.
Yeah.
And then once things calmed down, he said, hey, can we get another SBA loan? Because I want to re-engage with you and start looking at some of the business models we looked at originally. And this was within 12 months. So I was like, okay, well, yeah, you can have multiple SBA loans. You're a pretty solid borrower, so we can make it work. So we, on his, we financed about $150,000 for the vending with working capital, I think. You can build in working capital in those loans. We financed 90%. So he closed on that with maybe 15 grand out of pocket. And so we explored a lot of different business models on the second go round. And he came down to two business models. One was a restoration business. The other was a painting subcontractor model business. And we went back and forth because they're both great companies, both great support, etc. And he ultimately said, look, the painting company is more of a lifestyle business, meaning I'm using subcontractors. I don't have a lot of overhead. So ultimately, we got him to the finish line recently on the startup of this new franchise. He invested in 2 territories. So when we talk about franchising in this home service or B2B space, territory really is X amount of population or X amount of rooftops. So it's all economies of scale. So if you want to grow a bigger business, typically you're going to do 2 territories, possibly 3. So that's how franchising works. So end of the day, we got him in. I received a text that he said, we did it again when we closed, and he was really happy. Right. And so now the fun begins, but we're changing lives, what we're doing, and we're creating legacy. And so I always talk about the gateway business. It is a gateway business to it expands and opens your mind. It gives you some potential write-offs, increases cash flow. Which, speaking of that, I have to email another gentleman who was watching us. And he said, he actually said he hadn't been to the actual ORAT event. He said, I should come. He's like, he's busy. Yeah. This gentleman's a financial planner. And he saw when we were talking about bringing the kids into the vending business. We had an episode about that back. And so that really stuck out in his mind. So I actually got to reach out to him today and let him know that there's availability in his market for vending. So, but the end of the day, I don't know what's next for this gentleman, but probably more real estate, more business, and more expansion is my guess.
Yeah. So when I think about it, again, when I think about the ORAT community, most of my community is probably their employees. They're probably, mid to senior level folks. And a lot of them are looking for plan Bs, right? Real estate for them is a plan B. Most of the people that watch my stuff aren't looking to replace their income tomorrow, right? That's not what we preach here, right? It's a slow journey to wealth building, not income replacing, at least not immediately. And I think a lot of folks are looking at Vending, that gateway, which you brought to us over a year ago, and many people have taken it because it makes a lot of sense and it's not heavy. And to your earlier point, if you happen to have kids around that age, 16 to 25, you can bring them into the business and you could do it together, right? They could learn about running a business, being an entrepreneur. You can get the tax write-ups, bonus depreciation, all of that stuff. Talk to your CPA. And then when you get your feet wet and you see it's not this big, scary thing and it's profitable, it really could open up your idea. And the people that I think about most here in my community are real estate agents, real estate brokers, mortgage brokers, the people that are really sucking wind today, right? That industry is in a depression. And what I keep thinking about today is this depression's going to end, and it'll end before most people think. And it's going to be the people that grow out of this the quickest. And, maybe that is creating those other businesses, right? Is it painting? Is it restoration? Is it air conditioning? Is it whatever? And you could just create and dominate an entire area, be vertically integrated, or at least have a plan to be vertically integrated, and get SBA to finance 90%. It's just eye-opening what is possible if you want to kind of put a game plan together and, reach out to you and see what's right, what's right for them at the right time.
Yeah, I love, if you're looking at more of an operating business where potentially you can make a lot more revenue than, say, doing 10 or 12 vending machines, I like subcontractor models. So we have a couple business models we work with. So let me give you an example. You don't have a painting background, but you can follow a game plan. There's subcontractor models in the painting space. So one of the companies we work with does higher end homes. They do about 40 services. It's all subcontractor, and they do some commercial painting, right? So it's the best of both worlds. So you don't need a ton of employees. You don't need a brick and mortar location. You're not storing materials at your house. So if you can follow a playbook and you're coachable, a business model like that is great. You can get into a business model like that for, when I say investment range, we always talk low to high, because once you understand franchising, there's something called an FDD, and they give you all these numbers. It's, but low to high investment range, somewhere between, I would say, 175 to 225, depending on how much working capital you build in, and if you're hiring somebody to start. So there's a lot of business models out there that don't require a lot of heavy lifting from you, meaning you're not putting a huge amount of money down. You're putting $20,000, $30,000 into the deal. What we're looking for is good credit, utilization under 30%. So that means if your high credit card's 10K, you're not charged up to 8 or 9K, because you're probably not going to get approved. So generally 700 credit scores and above, and then 10% down. So total project cost is 200. You need 20 down, and you need rule of thumb is 10% post-close liquidity. So another 20 in reserves after you put your down payment down. And generally outside income that supports your outside debt. If you are there, you're not that far off. Yeah. And the reason I kind of rewind, and I love the idea of buying rental property, but I find it challenging in this market. When I look in Las Vegas, although it may be changing a little bit, that, I still need 80 grand or 100 grand down. I'm talking about 20 and 15 and $30,000 investments, which can spit off a lot more cash flow. Now, it is a lot more work, but if you're at a stage of growth, owning an operating business is probably the way where it'll help you get that one rental per year, like we talk about.
Yeah. Again, I think there's a lot of things going on. And the other thing I keep thinking about is, we've talked about this a few times, plan Bs. I'm not really in the camp that AI is going to be all that scary, at least not in the short term. But when you step back and realize that AI is already having impact on companies like Salesforce and Oracle, where mid-level managers, even Google, right, laid off 34% of their mid-level managers. This is the time to, think about having a plan B. Like, what else could I be doing on the side? And I love businesses, whether it's vending that's really, not a lot of work, or things you could do, working, you do your day job 8 to 5, and then you do this, 6 to 9. I just think there's a lot of people out there that would benefit from maybe starting a plan B, or at least thinking about a plan B now. so that they're not caught off guard.
Well, I mean, I think it's really, you got to take a look and look at your spreadsheet, right? If your spreadsheet doesn't show enough to live the lifestyle you want, that probably means you need to hustle for the next 5-10 years, right? And so unfortunately, many people I talk to on a daily basis, I talk to a lot of people in their probably late 50s, early 60s. They're still working. They have decent credit. They have a little bit of capital, like a little bit. They have a little bit of a retirement account. Some of them borrow against the retirement account or do a Rob's rollover for their down payment. But they've realized, like, they've worked 25 years for the same company and they're not nearly in a position to retire. So I want to encourage people to think about your plan B and take action, because we already know that everyone should own some sort of business or side hustle. If you read any of the books from any of the CPAs, they're all going to confirm that same concept. If you just Google around and look on AI about, who can take advantage of tax incentives, it's really the self-employed. So
business owners, absolutely.
That's all I'm encouraging people to do.
Folks, all I'm encouraging you to do is go to that little website or URL on the screen, onerentalmeeting.com. He got that URL just for this community. Book your 15-minute call, have a conversation, take a Zoracle, figure out what's right for you, and don't get caught off guard. And, maybe it's starting with vending like our winner here, and you'll grow into a painting business. But again, Bo will be your guide. He'll find out what's right for you. And maybe it's not the right time, but maybe it is. onerentalmeeting.com. Bo, have a great week.
Thank you.